Welcome everybody to this week's Real Talk with Amanda. I'm Amanda Hammett and I'll be answering your life's toughest question as the cool big sister that you don't have. Let's go ahead and jump into this week's topic, shall we? So after that train wreck from last week, I promised you guys some cool, fun first date ideas that don't have all the pressure of a dinner and a movie type of date. Because in a dinner and a movie type of date, you're sitting across the table and there's this huge, enormous pressure to have all this free-flowing conversation when you may just not be there yet. That's totally cool. So I came up with some ideas that I think that you'll like and that can really, really help you, especially if you're a little bit more shy. Believe it or not, I tend to be a little bit shy. What? You don't believe that? Nobody ever does. A couple days ago, I decided to put something out on Twitter just to ask for some ideas. And I was shocked by the response I got. I got tons and tons of direct messages from some of my Twitter followers with some really great ideas. Now, I don't have time to share all of my ideas with you here today, but I will put a bunch more in the actual written version of the blog post, so you can check that out on amandaspeaks.com. So I whittled it down to 5, and I'll give you some reasons for each and every one of them. All right, you ready? Let's do it. Number 5 on my list. Go to a game. Be a spectator for once. So this would be really great to go to like a high school football game or a soccer game or, maybe something you know absolutely nothing about, like rugby. Now for me, I actually had the opportunity to go on a first date one time to a rugby match when I was in college. I knew absolutely nothing about rugby. In fact, I think I'd only heard about rugby for the first time the week before. And it was the most awesome experience because we were watching the game and he was trying to explain it to me and I didn't get it. But that's okay because we had a great time and it was something good for us to both focus on, and we were able to spur conversation from that, and it was awesome. Number 4 on my list is a service project. This really could be anything from reading to kids at your local library to volunteering at a homeless shelter, maybe even doing some manual labor and planting some trees. Again, it could be almost anything, and there are thousands and thousands of organizations out there that need your help. And doing good to help other people always puts a smile on your face. All right, so number 3 on my list is going to a festival. Most towns around the United States have tons and tons of festivals at various times throughout the year. The good thing about going to a festival for a first date is that you guys can walk around, there's so much to see, there's so much to do, there's tons of people watching, and no doubt there will be tons of conversation between you and your date. Number 2 on my list is going and hanging out at a bookstore or your local library. All right, hear me out on this one. The great thing about this is that you can actually see what your date is really interested in based on the types of books that they pick up and look at, and also based on the types of magazines they sit there and read. You guys could grab a coffee and maybe even have some fun and pick out some things for each other. You don't have to buy anything, but just have a great time doing it. Okay, so number 1 on my list. Drum roll, please. So number 1 is getting out there and doing something active. Whether you are rollerblading in the park, maybe you are playing mini golf, maybe you are found a place where you want to do some indoor rock climbing. The great thing about that is that for things like that you don't know how to do, there are usually some pretty inexpensive intro sessions that you can get for you and your date. And the fun thing about that is that you'll have a really cool, fun, shared experience that you guys can talk about later over coffee or dessert or whatever. All right, so whatever you decide, let me give you a couple of heads up for things that you should think about when you're planning your date. First and foremost, whoever is planning the date should let the other person know kind of what to expect. Let me give you an example. If you're planning to take your date rock climbing and you don't tell her that and she wears a skirt, nobody's going to be happy with this situation, okay? So remember, whatever you plan, just make sure it's fun and relaxed for both of you. We're really trying to avoid having to sit across the table from somebody at the cliched dinner and movie with absolutely nothing to say. Nobody likes that. Nobody's comfortable with that. I hate it personally. Oh, and one last thing. Put your cell phone away. Nothing is worse on a date when you're sitting across from the person and they aren't even paying attention to you. They're just sitting there playing on their cell phone or texting their friends or whatever they're doing. That is so annoying for everybody. So put your cell phone away. That is my A to your Q this week. I hope you got a lot out of what I had to say, and I hope you found a cool, fun first date idea for your next first date. And don't forget that there are going to be even more ideas on the actual written version of the blog this week. So be sure to head on over to www.amandaspeaks.com and check them out. And don't forget to keep those questions rolling in. You never know. Next week, I might even be answering your life's toughest questions. Until then, I'm Amanda Hammett, and this has been Real Talk with Amanda. Have a fantastic week. What is wrong with me here? I don't know. It's like okay. So number 1 on my list, drum roll please. I hope that you got a lot out of my 5 fun first date ideas. That was a mouthful. That was like blah, blah, blah. And to me, I keep doing this every week, so they tell me.